Good morning. I'll see if I can talk. um, let's see. Are there any prayer requests? Oh, the one missing. Aaron, do you? Okay. Okay, let's stand to pray. Father, I thank you. Another day, time together in fellowship. Help us to be faithful. And just help our conversations today to and to the rest of our life to glorify you. Just pray for these prayer requests. Pray that Dwayne would have a safe trip and that he would further your kingdom as he goes along. Just pray for faith that she could turn to you and see there's more than just the world. Pray for Michelle that her cold would go away or whatever she has. So pray for the missing Mennonite girl, wherever she is, just help her. So pray for Aaron's parents that this incident would help them draw closer to you and that they could follow you. And just pray that your will would be done in their lives. In Jesus' name, amen. I guess if you can't hear, you have to talk to the speaker controller, and he can crank up the volume. But so when we were down in Belize, Harvey and I on our trip, there was this Wednesday evening meeting, and one of the men gave a short opening or topic or whatever it was on caring for animals, and I just thought that was a blessing, so I think I'll do the same. I wrote most of it down here, so I might just read off. God has made animals in a different class than humans, or than mankind. He wants man to have dominion over all animals of the world, birds, fish, reptiles, beasts, anything and everything. He created man to rule and animals to be ruled. Genesis 1:26 through 28. Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him, male and female. He created them. Then God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and every living thing that moves on the earth. And when God was blessing Noah, he also confirmed this sentiment. And even to help out with that. So I'm not sure in the time when he gave this, when he was saying that they should have dominion over the fish and this, or whatever, that they feared people, because when we read in Genesis 9, I'll just read it then. So God blessed Noah, Genesis 9, 1 through 3. So God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be on every beast of the earth. I'm not sure that fear and dread was there before. I don't know. It'd be a speculation on my part. But I could only imagine how it would be if animals didn't fear us. Like if you were walking outside and a squirrel got mad at you and just started chasing you or something like that. Like I don't know. It'd just be something else if no animal had any fear of you. From fools to, I mean, you can count, you can name it. Okay, I'll go on to that. On every bird of the air and all that move on the earth, and all the fish of the sea. They are given into your hand. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. I have given you all things, even as the green herbs. Also, as God is blessing Noah, and giving command concerning ruling over animals, he puts the animals on the food list for man, just like a green herb. So if a man wants to eat meat, vegetables, fruit, or whatever, except the blood, God has given him that choice. This would also be confirmed in Acts, where Peter had that vision. But before that, I'll read a verse in Psalms, or a section in Psalms 8 I did not realize was there. Psalms 8, 4 through 8. What is man that you're mindful of him, the son of man that you visit him? For you made him a little lower than the angels. You have crowned him with glory and honor. You have made him to have dominion over the works of your hand, and have put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, even the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, that pass through the sea, that pass through the paths of the sea. And then in Acts, what I mentioned earlier, that sheet was lowered, and God told Peter to rise and kill and eat. Maybe that would just kind of confirm what he said in Genesis 9. It is clear that animals are given for the benefit of survival of mankind. It is not wrong to kill an animal for that purpose, but what about treatment of animals? Even though God has given animals for food and for the survival of mankind, he still wants people to take care of their animals. We need to give our animals sufficient food, care, and whatever else they need. And I found a few verses pertaining to this idea or thought. In Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 4, it says, "You shall not muzzle an ox while he treads out the grain." Guess Paul quoted that as well in reference to an evangelist or preacher, I'm not sure. And then Proverbs 12, verse 10. "A righteous man regards the life of his animal, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel." Proverbs 27:23. "Be diligent to know the state of your flocks, and attend to your herds." Jonah 4:11. "And should I not pity Nineveh, that great city in which are more than 120,000 persons who cannot discern between their right hand and their left, and much livestock?" I just found it interesting that when God's talking to Jonah there, that he also remembers the livestock in the city. I think he likes animals. And here are a few of my thoughts on animal care. If you have animals, it is righteous to take care of them, but evil to neglect them. If you have an animal you do not like, get rid of them, but do not mistreat it. It is not wrong to get rid of an animal, but it is wrong to mistreat. Never add discomfort to an animal out of anger or negligence. I know in my past, I don't know how many of you have milked cows when it's cold and wet outside and their tails are dirty and they whack you in the face. It's just very annoying and aggravating. But I don't think it's right to anger then and hit the cow. And there's other things too. You're milking a goat and it just steps and kicks the bucket over and looks back at you like, yeah. But I don't think that it's still not right to hit that goat out of anger. Now there is something to training. And there's many methods to that, but I won't get into that. But it cannot be out of rage or negligence that an animal should get discomfort. I believe Christians should take care of it. I believe a Christian should take care of his animals. There are many different types of animals and many different ways for caring for them. So there's a lot of options how to take care. Like one person may have this way, another person may have that way, but they're still taking care of it. A lot of people in this society are so far removed from the reality of animal care and the use of animals for human survival that processing animals to eat them has become strange. Strange enough that programs like PETA have taken some traction, but that does not mean that everything they say is wrong. They make some good points on animal care, especially for negligence and commercialized animal production. A lot of their points on that I appreciate. even though their foundation and their belief is wrong, which in short is basically that you're not allowed, it's wrong to kill an animal, period, which is not what God said. So they kind of promote vegan lifestyle on that. But that's an option. It's not wrong to be a vegan. It's just wrong to say that it's wrong to kill an animal, since that's not the case. But I'd like to talk about killing animals for sport. I do not believe that a Christian should be killing an animal for the fun of it or for the excitement of watching the bloodshed of animals. For example, cockfights, bullfights, hunting just to kill, and the like. This does not seem like something Christ would enjoy. Now, to clarify, I'm not saying that there is an excitement that comes when you're hunting an animal. I'm not saying that's wrong. You're creeping through the woods and trying to peek over a rock and see if it's still there. And hunting, I don't think hunting is wrong. It's one of the ways to utilize animals for the benefit of the human race, which was an option God gave, just like going out and cutting down a plant to eat its fruit. But still, I think we should have good reasons to be hunting. Also, another thing I would like to throw in is pest control. I do not think it's wrong to kill an animal for pest control. I have my opinions on this subject. Other people have different opinions and different ideas. Some may not kill a spider on a wall if it's not doing anything wrong, while others may not have a problem with killing it just because they don't like spiders. Some may kill snakes and others see no reason to, just because some people don't like snakes around, so they kill them. I think some of these things should be left up to an individual's conscience, especially since it's not sin to kill animals. But on the other hand, if pest control is a cover-up for sport killing, or you just want to see an animal die, that's not right either. God is watching animals close enough that he knows when a sparrow falls to the ground. Here in Matthew 10:28-31. And do not fear those who can kill the body but cannot kill the soul, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both body and soul in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a copper coin, and not one of them falls to the ground apart from your Father's will? But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Do not fear, therefore, for you're of more value than many sparrows. I do not think Jesus is making a case that it is wrong to kill a sparrow or that it is right, but rather that humans are worth more than many sparrows. So let's treat animals with respect, even when we use them for food or when we get rid of them for pest control. Presumably, there's a day coming when killing will not be around. Animals will no longer kill animals, and possibly even humans will no longer kill animals. But for our time now, that is not the case. Here in Isaiah 11, verse 6-9, the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, the leopard shall lie down with the young goat, the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. A cow and the bear shall graze, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like an ox. A nursing child shall play by the cobra's hole, and the weaned child shall put his hand in the viper's den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, and the water shall cover the sea. In closing, I would like to encourage everyone that has animals to take care of them, not to mistreat certain animals just because of the kind they are. Never take your anger out on animals and treat them with respect. But most of all, never forget, brothers and sisters are worth more than many sparrows, cats, or dogs, or whatever you may add to the list. People do not even compare with animals. So let's love, be kind, and help and respect one another, and truly have a deep desire to help each other win the race, seeing how short the time is that we have here on this earth till we step into eternity. Because that's all I have. So, any thoughts, comments, corrections?
Thank you, Brother Lloyd. Brothers like you and Buddy and others, athletes, you have an advantage, Leroy, over city folks that we never saw many animals. Growing up in a crowded city of Boston, people, maybe they have pets, like you, Rick, something like that, but They never saw any. We'd go to the zoo once in a while, but we didn't appreciate animals. The blessing that you children have to grow up around animals. I mean, we had lots of pigeons, and wow, you look at the pigeons, and they were kind of nasty, you know, on pigeons. But someone has said that, well, like you read Isaiah, and there's other verses. Well, do animals have an afterlife? Will there be animals in a new creation? And they use some of those proof texts to say that, well, perhaps there will. The lion and the ox, or the lion and the lamb, and then you have others. One, Ecclesiastes, the spirit of man goes up, but the spirit of the beast goes down. But I would say Deuteronomy 29:29 says a lot. The secret things belong to God, and the things revealed belong to us and our children. So whether there'll be animals in the next creation is I open it up for the brethren for that. And as you said in Genesis, it was good. When God created animals, it was good. And the only other comment I'll have is that in Romans 1, it talks about the perversion of people, and this is after the flood, but they start worshiping images of man, birds, four-footed, hoofed animals, and creeping things. And of course, if just, okay, where are we in Wentworth? Wentworth doesn't have a school, I guess, but just say we're in Pierce City. The eagles, and the bulls, and the tigers, and the bears, and they worship these images of these creeping things. There's not many, there's about 3 or 4 colleges in this country that have names, their mottos. They're the Violets, the Poets, the Bluebonnets. You don't have many, but they're all worshiping the vicious type of animals that it's idolatry. And anyway, the Lord be magnified.
Critique on some of the verses. So you said it says the spirit of man goes up. The spirit of the beast goes down. Doesn't it ask it like a question? That's what I thought. Like, who knows? Who knows? The spirit of man goes up and the spirit of beast goes down. That's what I thought.
So will it be beast in the new kingdom, brother?
I have my opinions, but it doesn't matter what my opinion is.
Well, my idea about whether there's going to be animals there or not, we don't even know how we're going to look, let alone animals.
One other thought, in Ezekiel's Revelation, that the 4-sided creatures, there was a man, an eagle, a lion, and an ox. I mean, there's something about animals, Walter, right? A man, an eagle, a lion, and an ox, or whatever that's worth.
Yeah, I'm just saying they might look a lot different than we imagine. I just don't know. I like the idea that those mysteries are in God's hands, and if there's animals there, we'll hopefully take care of them, or they probably don't need any care. Yeah, I appreciated what was shared. I had one little thought on the fear of animals. If there's, like even a calf, if it doesn't have a healthy fear of man, they become dangerous. A horse, people like to play with colts and things, but if big animals like that, if you don't handle them correctly and properly, they become dangerous. Not because they might want to eat you like a lion, but they might bite you. They might, like a cow, you can't chase them. They just don't care about you. And it becomes, a cow might not be as dangerous, but like a bull, you might think they're tame and slow, and then all of a sudden they kill people. And not sure why, but there's that part of, I think, I'm not sure how that fits in, but I think most animals lose their fear if there's no harm coming their way. So maybe man puts that fear in him, or then it's not there. I'm not sure. Then there's some maybe that there may be accounts where there's just, I don't know. I tend to think if animals were not hunted, they'd get pretty tame. Yeah, and I appreciate the idea that we're more important than sparrows, and we're more important than the cattle. I really like that idea too, that we end up, I think a godly man will take care. I don't know if Lloyd mentioned that verse or not about a man caring for his animal. Not quite sure which one is right now, but a godly person will take care of his animals. It's just a part of godliness, I think. It's just a good character that there's many other characters that we can have that are shady or good or bad. But yeah, let's press on into perfection.
Thank you, Lloyd. I appreciate your thoughts on that. It seems to me like when it comes to the relationship between us and animals, there's maybe two, I don't know if they would be opposite, but two different problems that people fall into. I think one is starting to elevate animals to the level of humans, or preferring animals over humans, I think that that's kind of the whole pet concept, which in our society has been taken to such an extreme that it's almost like an unbelievable extreme, in certain places in our society where these animals are like replacements for children for people, and they go to the spa and they go to the, pet daycare, and they've got, they're getting better food and better water than a significant percentage of the world's population. And I think what you said about are we not worth more than sparrows? Obviously, I think Jesus is saying that in relation to showing us our relationship to God, but I think that we should consider that when we think about relating to animals, that it's fine, I think, for us to use animals for a purpose, and they can be very useful, but I think to use animals just as replacements for people or as things that just serve a social purpose, I don't really see at the present time that compares to the task that we have to take care of all the people in the world that need help. And I guess the opposite, or I don't know if it's right to say opposite, but the other problem people seem to fall into, I think, is you spoke about just either being cruel to animals or getting enjoyment out of killing animals and that sort of thing, and maybe one of those problems is tends to be more a city problem, and one of them tends to be more a rural problem. I'm not sure, but I think that both of those are not the way we should interact with animals. That we're to have dominion over them, but it's to be a kindly dominion, like God's dominion over us is. Obviously, it's not a parallel because God doesn't kill us for food, but there is some comparison there, I think, and I think too that to some extent it seems like it must be the way in which we, like, if we're cruel or unkind in how we treat animals, I think that's going to come out in some way in how we interact with people. If we just get angry at animals, we're probably going to do the same to people that annoy us. If we're patient with animals, then hopefully we can be patient with people too. And I think if we allow the killing of animals to leave its proper place of this sober act of providing necessities and become a thing of enjoyment, I think we're not that far also away from being able to not feel so bad about doing harm to people. And I think it's good. Not that I think the focus of the scriptures is on how we treat animals, but I think it relates to other things more than just animals. So appreciate you bringing those thoughts up.
Yeah, I too appreciated that. I just wanted to share a scripture. Proverbs 12:10 says, "A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel." I appreciated what you shared just about being kind to animals, and I think it plays a part, and I think it manifests our heart, how we treat animals, and like Joel said. Anyways, I just appreciate it. I want to share that verse. Thank you.
Lloyd, I'll put you in the spot, if you don't mind. The scientists, or the evolutionists, the high school textbooks say that man is a rational animal. And we are made in the image of God. So when the Word became flesh, did he become an animal? I like creature, and I know Paul says the Cretans and the wild beasts, but they act like beasts. Elias, slow-bellied beasts, but is me and Mike, I'm ignorant, totally, is Lloyd, are we animals? Is man a rational animal? Are we a creature? Or what's the correct definition that male and female is? Because the evolutionists, the Darwinists, they want to put us in the same category as monkeys and you know what. So is man a animal, or is it a creature or a creature? I give up.
Well, words are just sounds that you make with your mouth, So, for sure, humans are mankind is way different than animal kind, but scientifically, flesh and muscles and bones and eyeballs and stuff are different than rocks and trees. So there would be this category of fleshly things that, if you want to call that animals, which I think is a definition of it. Then yeah, God became the flesh, the bone, with seeing and hearing and like that. But
are you a mammal?
Am I?
They try that.
Yeah.
Am I a mammal?
I think it's obvious that man is at least part animal. And if you did not have rational faculties, your brain is the thing that gives you any basic functioning. Maybe other than opposable thumbs, which even some animals have such things. But it was probably 6 years ago that I was at home in my parents' house looking on Teo's blog, and I don't remember who he quoted, but it was talking about the sin of gluttony and how, if a man gluts himself, it's kind of like not treating his beast in a kind way. Your body would be like this thing that you were given stewardship over to care for, and it would have basically all the faculties in its flesh, like the same drives that any beast would. But you, through your rational faculties, would then have the power to distinguish what was right and wrong and how you were going to treat that thing